So I'll straight away go to Narasimha Rao, who's been attending all our part, and he is also regular to all our webinars. So what is the meaning of equipotential in protective equipment,
equipotential
bonding system, and why it is called as equipotential? And is it required to connect? Is it required to connect the protective equipotential bonding system to earth electronics for a TNS system? If earth electrodes are required, how many earth electrodes are required for a hospital having a load of 1000 kilowatts with 1600 kilowatts? So these are the more technical, I think, Mr.
Yes, I will
so you
answer
can go
this.
ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Dominic. Mr. Rao, you have also asked the question in the blog, which is there in the solvelv.com. I've typed the answers yesterday, but I could not post it. But anyway, see, the answer here is the meaning of equipotential means there is equal potential. Very simple, equal potential. Bonding stands for a connection, a metallic connection. Protective stands for safety. So safety, bonding, same potential. For the purpose of safety, metallic parts of the building are connected together to ensure the potential, no potential difference. Then, does it need to connect to the earth electrode for a TNS system? Actually, if you look at the earth electrode, if you are asking for a vertical plate or a pipe or a rod in soil, I would say no, you don't need to. But then what is required? Sometime, this large installation, for example, 1000 kVA hospital, probably it's a multi-storied hospital, probably 3-4 floors. So the earth for electrical equipment in the second floor, third floor are the rebar. So you need to have connection with the rebars or the earth which is just under the foot of the person. So we are supposed to use the technique called as foundation earth, and this foundation earth is also sometimes called as foundation earth electrode. Of course, you need to have a connection with the structural steel of the building, not with a rod or a plate in the soil. So the next question, Mr. Dominic, you are on mute.
Okay, Chidambaram Joshi is lead-free FR wire or FRLS wire. Which is better?
As far as safety is concerned, more than this FR or FRLS, you are supposed to use a wire with a class 2 copper. Class 2 copper is a flexible wire. It's not a solid wire. Somebody asked the question whether it is flexible or not. Class 2 is a flexible wire. So electrical safety, you are supposed to do with class 2 wire. This FR, FRLS and all, even if you use, whatever the insulation is, if your MCB is able to trip within the time, you achieve electrical safety. So fire safe, the halogen, zero halogen cable is the best, I would say.
Okay. Well, moving to Santosh is asking, can fatty acid soaked cotton waste self-ignite?
Oh, I really don't know.
I don't know whether we tested that. Madhav Katwakar is asking, is all electrical panels installed in open public places should have red color to identify it is dangerous to go near it? Any reference standard for the same? Some power distribution company use gray color as a paint for electrical panel. Any standard for this?
Yes, there is a standard for it. I don't remember the number, but it is also there in the upcoming National Electrical Code, Part 1, Section 22. It is there. You can refer that particular part.
Okay.
We can go to the next question.
How to prepare cycle tire lightning? There is a lighting arrestor. So you started with that, saying criticizing that the crude way of doing it.
So sorry to say, Mr. Sandeep, that it is not the correct way of doing lightning protection. It is people are I just showed it that these are the crude ways people are promoting safety. It won't protect. In fact, it is highly dangerous. Don't do it.
I think Prakash Kamath, you said Fire Protection Association doing a lot of spread awareness and electrical safety. I think EMA is also doing. I think since Gopakumar is involved in various association, various things, so I'll also be interested to know, is there any particular association carrying out this electrical safety awareness other than what we do in the webinar? Is there any association who dedicated to this?
Actually, this is a very complicated question to answer. I participated, during the starting of this COVID time, I was doing a lot of webinars. That was one side, but I participated in electrical safety training conducted by an international company. It is a company, those who are doing this ISO certification, this ISO audits and all.
Yeah.
So as a part of their corporate, they do this electrical safety audit as well, and they have called for a 2 days training, 15,000 rupees. I paid 15,000 rupees and attended this training. But after a few hours, then I asked a crude question. Then this gentleman suddenly called me and told that, look, I am a mechanical engineer. So this subject, don't ask me this particular question. Remember, this training is done by a German company. It's a German company who is into these ISO audits and testings and all. And the person who is heading this electrical safety things, he never heard the word fault loop impedance.
Sure.
So this is the situation. Now, for example, some of the, a lot of organizations are doing electrical safety trainings. I'm getting regular, the brochures from several organizations. I even attended my second electrical safety training from a government organization. Unfortunately, the whole day they have opened the regulation and they started reading the regulation. So it says, regulation, this is talking this regulation, this is talking this, and but what the explanations are really, I am not convinced. It is actually most of these, if somebody asks, where do we learn the actual electrical safety, I would say in English, you should go to some of the British training institutes and you should get trained there. In India, it's very difficult because people are only talking. Nobody is really doing a good training. There are organizations in UK, those who are doing, but it is really highly expensive. Now, what we are trying to do is we are also, for example, in Solve, as I said, we are trying to develop some training module, but for testing alone, training will be at least for 20 to 24 hours. So 20-24 hours training, we cannot do like a webinar. So it will be chargeable basis. Of course, the design part we are already doing for several engineers. It is for 30 hours and we are charging 60,000 rupees per engineer. Not for fresh engineers. This is only for engineers having 3-4 years experience. So of course we are doing, but other than us, several people are doing, but I am not ready to make any comment about the quality of those trainings. So over to you, Mr. Dunn.
Oh, thank you. I could see a few, 6-7 of them raised their hand. Mahesh, Bharat, Sandeep. Once we finish these questions, selective questions, I will allow you to speak. So if you have any specific that you want to talk, I will allow you to speak. So let us complete this question answer. Then I'll come to the hands which are raised. So have little patience. So I'll come back to you on this. So another interesting, Pramod Trivedi is asking, we found in many electrical panel gland plates, top side of electrical cable entry, it gets short circuit due to water comes in from the top side, from sprinkler and condensation from chilled water pipeline. I request you to request all top side gland plates should be changed from top to bottom. Kindly confirm, is it okay? Instead of from top, the wire coming below.
Oh, this cannot be a solution because practically sometime top entry is required. So, but the question is why these are kept? Why water is coming there? Electrical installation, especially such panels, must be installed in such a place that water doesn't come and go inside the gland.
No,
that is the way. Also, if your gland is of good quality, of course, water will not go inside the panel board. So that will be the way. That should be the way.
Mm-hmm. Is this glands are waterproofing, or is there any standard for it?
Yes, of course. A lot of it is offering IP. For example, IP ingress protection is the technical word. So protection against dust and water particles. So if you go for IP65 and all, even with the jet water, they are protected.
Okay.
So if you go for IP67, even if it is immersed for some time, water will not go inside. So you have to use that kind of a gland.
Oh, which means you mean to say that the quality of the panel manufacturer and the gland that they use need to be checked even before you commission whether water is getting in or not. So I think it's a good eye opener, that what you said. So let's move to Pradeep Shah. Is having a higher testing and values are for electrical installation only. Cabling wiring with disconnecting the load and supply. Only the cabling. The majority of the equipment like air conditioner, ODU or IDU, geysers, oven are the culprit for initiate for. I think.
Oh, sorry. It went to the answered part.
Okay. Let's move. No, not an issue. Kindly provide checklist to be followed to ensure electrical safety of installation and equipment.
Yeah, there were two questions. By mistake, I pressed the answered. So Mr. Pradeep Shah's answer went to the answered part. Okay. IR testing and the values are for electrical installation, only cable wiring with disconnecting the load and supply. The majority of equipment like air conditioners, ODUs, IDUs, geysers, oven, etc. are the culprits for initiate the spark fire. Any IS standard for these equipment are limited to allowing ISLO. Of course, all these equipment, the equipment used like the air conditioners and all, they must be tested as per there are fire safety requirements and they must be tested as per the relevant IS standard. There are several IS standards. I'm not very well known to these IS standards. But there are standards and all those equipment must satisfy either IS standard, if not the IEC standard. Also the PAT test, portable appliance test, ensure that these devices are in good condition. So then there was another question.
Yeah.
Which was the question?
That is, they're asking about what is the maximum limit for earth pit? Sandeep Parmar.
What is the maximum limit for earth pit? I don't understand. If the resistance, if you are talking, it can be something about 200 ohms, 100 ohms. There is no, maximum is not important. The earth pit resistance itself is not important nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Another question of Santosh. Any standard for static discharge points?
There are standards, but I don't remember the standard numbers. Of course, there are standards. But again, this depends on the layout of your plant, layout of your equipment. Based on that, you have to position those things.
Sir, Sriyar is asking, kindly provide checklist to be followed to ensure electric safety of installation and equipment. Is there any standard from Kate? Do we have any checklist?
Yes, we have the checklist. I can provide you the checklist. You please send me a mail. I will provide you the checklist. You can also download it free of cost from BIS website. Go to BIS website. You create a username, password. Download IS 732. It is included in the I think the annexure QQ, RR, SS and all. So at the final of the standard, you can find out these annexures. But going through the checklist actually will not help you, because the person who is doing it, you should really understand, and then only you can do it.
That's what
simply ticking something. Simply ticking will not help.
I posted Gopakumar's email ID and contact details and all that on the chat box, so you can take. I think continue to the previous question. So another, they're asking, please share the testing method. Where is it and what are the procedure of testing? Who can test it?
Any knowledgeable person who knows about the safety can test it. If he has got the infrastructure like the meters, high accuracy meters. But you know, for doing an testing in an industry, you need to have meters all together, probably costing 25-30 lakh rupees. So for a good quality, different kind of meters. Anyone who is having this infrastructure and knowledge, more than infrastructure, the knowledge is more important, can do the test. Of course, we are also doing. We are doing a lot.
Okay, those who want to contact Mr. Jaykumar testing, please write a mail. There is a mail ID which I have given in the chat box. So Jay Patke is saying, please elaborate about the term residual voltage.
Residual voltage.
Yeah.
See, whenever there is a leakage current or whenever there is a current flow through an undecided path, there is a voltage buildup. Whenever there is a current flow in a conductor, of course, voltage is created. So when a current flows through an undecided earth, that means an undecided path, some voltages are created at body of the equipment, the body of the wires, cable trays and all. And if somebody touches, they may get a shock. That is actually referred as the residual voltage.
Okay, so Rudrap, I went up on the question 1205. So Rudra Pratap is asking, in class 2 conductor is single strand, class 2 conductor is a single strand, but for class 5, is it is flexible, that is multi-strand. If the same electrolytic, sorry, I'm not from electrical background, so my reading, apologies for my reading. Electrolytic copper is used. Why the differences? Single strand are susceptible to break.
Susceptible to break. Yeah, actually, class 2 is not a single conductor. Class 2 is also a flexible conductor. Class 5 and class 2 both are flexible, multi-strand wires. Class 1 is the single conductor. So with respect to resistance, actually, I am not aware. I know only what is written and what is followed, but how the resistance is reduced or increased, this question need to be asked with a cable supplier.
So Nishad is asking, as we are increasing solar PV system output, could you please put some light on potential contribution, electrical safety or fire in this?
Yeah, actually, this is probably another interesting subject altogether. It will be quite difficult to answer immediately. But of course, a lot of fire accidents are happening in solar PV. A lot. Mm-hmm. Yes. Of course, nothing inside the building because these are kept outside. But in the rooftop as well as in the field, a lot of fire accidents are happening. Most of the time, breaking DC is quite difficult when we compare with the AC. So the protective devices and the safety mechanism must be properly made, and the fault must be detected and disconnected manually in most of the cases. If you don't do it, of course, fire will happen. Probably we can plan a separate session on that.
Okay, Ashwini Jain is asking, Gopakumar said LV applications, earth electrode resistance does not matter. We are required to conduct earth resistance measurement for street light poles. Do we need to do it in newer context?
Yeah, see, what I told is LV electrical installation. Installation means if you are talking about the public light distribution, that is not an installation. That is a different thing. Installation is whatever you use inside your building or inside your electrical, let us say your industry. That is an installation. What I told is earth electrode doesn't matter if you are in an electrical installation. For street lights, of course, most important is you must use a 30 milliampere RCD more than the earth electrode. 30 milliampere RCD is required. Then, of course, the the body of, if you have a street light metal pole, the pole itself is having a foundation, and that is your earth. You don't need to put a separate earth rod and all.
So very interesting question. Jai Patke again is asking, if someone wants to be Jai Kumar, somebody would like to become like an expert like you, what educational path one should follow to obtain certification apart from practical industry experience?
I really don't know. Probably an electrical engineer.
No, just doing an electrical engineer, can he become expert or, the subject expert?
That is, working. You have to learn it from by doing. But, in foreign countries, in developed countries, there are specific electrical safety and those courses are there. And this kind of courses are not existing in India. So we can learn only by working or doing.
Okay, Hemant Patil, which type of earthing is promoted, conventional or chemical pipe earthing?
We are again back to the same. Actually,
I think we did this.
In low voltage installation has nothing to do with the earth electrode. This is what I answered.
I'll go to, is measuring earth pit resistance annually mandatory as per law?
Yes, for the distribution part. Yes, if you have the public electricity distribution, up to the point of commencement of supply, yes. But inside your electrical installation, no. Because if you try to read the regulation 41 and try to interpret as every year earth pit resistance measurement is required, actually you are wrong. This regulation 41, mostly it is talking about the electricity suppliers requirement, not within your electrical installation.
Rudra Pratap Aditya, what is the name of the loop impedance testing meter?
Answer is loop impedance testing meter.
Yeah. It itself is called loop impedance testing meter.
Yes, that is the
Okay, Dheeraj Ulal is IS 7689 is the guide for the control of undesirable static electricity. Answer to Santosh. So he's answering to Santosh. Okay, that's fine. Another two questions, then we'll go to move to the hands which are raised on the right. How can we measure? Yogesh Diman is asking, how can we measure earthing resistance at equipment and ensure the healthiness of circuit?
Yes, there are meters available with which you can test the fault loop impedance, you can test the touch voltage, you can do all these tests, the continuity resistance and all. You need to have different kind of meters sometime, and there are meters available.
So Yogesh again is asking, can we connect lightning earthing pits with building earthing pits?
Of course, yes. Not only the earth pits, at a visible location, the down conductor must be connected to the earth bus bar of the mains incoming panel. And in addition to that, you need to have SPDs, type 1 SPDs at the mains incoming panel. Both are necessary. Not only interconnection, SPD is also necessary.
Okay. I'll Kruttiventi Narasimha Rao. Any comment on static electrical shocks which are facing regularly?
Of course, if you are talking about an industrial environment, you should avoid the generation, or you should have measures to ensure that the static electricity is not created, or number two, it is discharged quite frequently so that it is not creating any problem. Of course, these measures are required.
Mahesh, if you are around, I have allowed you to speak. You can come. You may put your question, Mahesh. Mahesh, are you there? Okay, I'll move on to Bharat. Bharat, if you're there, you're free to talk.
Mr. Bharat Vajaria.
Yeah. Okay, I'll ask Manoj Sawant, if you're there. No. Ashok Babu. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Ashok
Yes.
Babu, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Gopakumar, like my question is not into electrical safety because recently I've been moving into this electrical field. All this while I was into general admin. So when we take a transformer of 1600 amps, sorry, 1600 kVA, the current capacity it will talk about like 2100 amps. Is it for
Okay.
all pieces or per phase?
Each conductor.
So you mean to say
You know,
like
suddenly, if you ask, then I have to take up my calculator and start calculating. That's
no,
probably
generalized one you can tell. Like you can take any transformer like as you wish, like
yeah.
630.
Generally, if we say the current, it is each conductor.
In each conductor, can we take 2100 amps? I mean, the maximum it is written on the nameplate.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Okay. Right. That's all.
But
Thank you.
as I said, I have to calculate and then only confirm this. But suddenly, if you ask, it will be
Okay.
little.
Anyways, I'll write you a detailed email also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Clear the
better.
query.
Narsinga Rao, are you there, sir?
Actually, Mr. Dominic, I have one interesting question on the chat box. Mr. Ravindra Desai, National Electrical Supply Code (NESC) by IEEE specifies best practices for the safety of electric supply and communication system and in use for more than 100 years. Of course, yes. In America, there are two code. One is the NEC, National Electrical Code, which is within a building or within a consumer premise, industrial, residential, commercial, or whatever. Whereas the property belonging to the electricity supplier, the code is NESC, National Electrical Safety Code, which is by IEEE. That is followed. But now, since India as a member of the IEC, we are supposed to follow the IEC standard, which is IEC 60 some number is there. I forget it. I showed it in the presentation. Yeah, over to you.
Anybody would like to ask any questions? So I have those who raised the hand, so I have allowed them to speak. Sijish?
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm Sijesh here.
Yeah.
I have a doubt regarding this earthing. Because the supply service provider will not provide a protective earthing conductor to the consumer premises. And sir told there is no requirement of earth pits inside the premises. So how it will match?
You see, service provider is supposed to provide you an earthed terminal. Means he is supposed to give a TNS system and he is supposed to give a terminal for the consumer to earth his equipment. It is a mandatory requirement in the regulation. Now, if the supplier is not providing this particular earthed terminal or the terminal is TNS system or TNCS system, then the first option, if somebody asks, you have two options. The first option is to put an earth electrode in soil, and the second option is to put an RCD. Which will you prefer? I would prefer to put a 30 milliampere RCD first, which is included in the IS 732 as well. Now, after putting a 30 milliampere RCD, of course, if you have protective equipotential bonding in a large building, such as metallic things, if you have connected, a dedicated earth electrode probably is not required. If you are talking about a very small building, which doesn't have any protective equipotential bonding system or any metallic things, then of course you can have an earth electrode in soil. But large buildings, you have so many other metallic things to earth. I hope it's clear.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Anybody wants to?
Thank you.
No, we have another 5 minutes to go. So anybody would like to ask any questions?
Hello.
Yeah, Lingesh.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Mr. Lingesh?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lingesh.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Lingesh, do you have any question?
Yes, sir. About the NEC, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
About NEC, I want to know, sir.
NEC, National Electrical Code.
Yes, sir.
The new National Electrical Code is under preparation. The final draft is also finalized. Probably in next 3, 4, 5 months, a new National Electrical Code will come. Until then, you can refer the 2011 NEC.
2011. Okay, sir.
Yes. It is already there. You can refer that.
Oh, okay, sir. What is the IEC 60364, sir?
It's a standard.
Oh.
The number is a standard. IEC stands for International Electrotechnical Commission, which is a global body, which is like an association of all the national standardizing units, like Bureau of Indian Standards in India. Every nation has got their standardizing body. So IEC is like, every nation is a member in IEC.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. That's all the questions, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I have mentioned Mr. Gopakumar's contact details, email IDs. Those who couldn't attend the questions. Probably... Sorry? Okay.
No, I think he is talking to someone else. Please mute yourself, Mr. Lingesh.
Yeah, I just muted him. I'm sorry we couldn't take a few questions. So Mr. Gopakumar, once he gets the chat box and all that, he will, whenever he finds time, he'll personally write to you. And those who have any questions, so you can also contact them directly. And we will come back soon again with part 5 and also on Solve very soon. And wonderful to have you all with a lot of patience. We started at 11 o'clock and it is 1:10 now. Our wonderful week, safe week, and we look forward to see you again. And those who want a participant certificate, which you're asking, you can mail me with your full details, contact details. We'll try and, in next 1 week, we will send you the certificate. And also, the entire presentation will be shared to you via YouTube link. If you have any more questions, you please write to us. We'll be
also, Mr. Dominic, one more information.
Yeah.
Now, there is a blog which I started creating, which is safelv.in or solvelv.com. So I will just put it in the chat box.
Yeah.
So there is a blog available. So the report of each of our webinar, I am trying to make as a report with pictures, and it is posted on the blog, so that you can ask questions on the blog, and it will be easy to answer on the blog, so that it will be recorded and you can refer it for long time.
Wonderful.
So I am just putting this in the chat box.
Yeah.
Okay, I've put it.
solvelv.com. Very simple to remember. Solve, S-O-L-V-E and LV. Solve.
LV is low voltage.
Yeah, solvelv.com. So very easy. Or safelv.in. So thank you very much. You all have a wonderful weekend with family, and we look forward to see you again. As usual, we'll be sharing all the information to you. And we look forward to see you again in part 5, which will be soon. We'll be declaring the date and time. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Lovely to have you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.